All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Now, today I'm going to be reviewing The Devil's Star by Joe Nesbo. This is book number 5, I believe, in his Harry Hole Norwegian murder mystery series. That's right, it says it right there. A Harry Hole novel. I didn't make that up. It is what it is. I've got the entire series right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 books in the series so far. This book number 4, so I've read and reviewed the first... No, this is book number 5. I've read and reviewed the first 4 books on the channel. So if you want to see my review for any of those books, like book number 1, The Bat, just type in my last name into the YouTube search bar and Joe Nesbo's name, and those reviews of the first 4 novels will show up on your computer screen. Somehow, magically, that's the way the internet works. But anyway, let's talk about the covers first, because you know I love graphic design and cover illustration. And I think this is a nice set of books to have. Like, each one of the books has similar style to it, similar font, and they look good. And then on the shelf, you know, they all pretty much similarly match. As you can see, they look decent on the shelf together. So the covers get an A+, just for looking nice. So this book, number 5, came out in 2003. So this is a series that's been going for quite some time. In fact, on the back, it says this series has sold over 40 million copies worldwide. So it's a popular series in America, in Norway, and worldwide. So Harry Hole. What does Harry Hole even mean? Don't Google it. Don't. For sakes, don't Google Harry Hole. I will tell you what Harry Hole means in the context of these books. Harry Hole is the name of the main character. First name Harry, last name Hole. He is a detective with the Norway police, Oslo police. And he's, in the first 4 books, of course, he solved murder cases. In this one, another murder case. They are murder mysteries. This one starts out in Oslo. There is a map. I like books with maps. There's a map here of Oslo. So what happens? A woman is murdered. They find her body. One finger is cut off. And then there's a tiny... They find a tiny star-shaped... And it's a red star-shaped diamond hidden up in her eyelid, up in her eye. That's what they find on it. And they're like, okay, well, all right. It's under her eyelid. That's kind of weird. Missing finger, dead body. Well, then Harry Hole is put on the case, and more dead bodies start showing up with similar things. You know, the same clues. And so now we think we've got a serial killer. And as we learn in this book, there hasn't been a serial killer in Oslo, Norway since 1980. So they went, like, this book came out in 2003, so that's 20 some odd years with no serial killers in Oslo, Norway at all. For whatever that's worth, it was a fact that was spit out in this book. Now, Harry Hole is a drunk. This is where I love these books. I love the way Joe Nesbo writes. I mean, these are translated from Norwegian, and the translators pretty much do a good job. But the way that, and when I say the way that Joe Nesbo writes, I'm talking about the characters talk about a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff kind of goes through Harry Hole's mind. Like, he's got a lot of thoughts. And I love how Joe Nesbo just lets those thoughts spill out onto the page, as irrelevant to the plot as they may be. And I kind of really enjoy that. It really helps me get to know the characters and then their conversations they have sometimes don't have anything to do with the murder mystery at hand, but just little tidbits of Norwegian history or world history or just whatever they might be thinking about at the time. And it's just really cool. Now, the one thing about this book and about the other books is Harry Hole is a drunk. He is the cliche drunk detective, sort of the rogue detective, sort of the guy that's always like just a hair's breadth away from getting fired because he's drunk or breaking policy or doing things that aren't quite jiving with policy. He's one of those kind of cops. I can't relate to that at all. You know, if you've, and I'm being serious here, the drunk thing. This guy is drunk the entire novel. Whether he's off duty or working the case, he's shit-faced. And everybody notices it. And everybody's like, dude, you can't keep coming to work like this. Dude, we can't be working with you when you're drunk and you can't even remember the stuff we investigated yesterday. You can't even remember it today. And but yet he seems to stumble through this world as a drunk. And like I said, I just can't relate to this at all. I mean, I'm just like, I've kind of grown weary of I'm wondering if in the later books, the dude gets his act together and stops the drinking. That is the mystery to me of what's going to happen to Harry Hole. Will this stop drinking for a minute? That's why I'm keeping reading these. I'm like, my God, this guy's got to turn it around. This guy's got to get his shit together and just get the franchise back in order, because he is just, he's driven it into the ditch. He's wallowing in the ditch of this. He's just a drunk. He's an alcoholic. And as I'm reading this, I'm just like, how is this possible? How is he getting away with it? Like I said, I work in law enforcement. You know, if you followed my channel for any length of time, I'm just like, this would not be tolerated. It would not be tolerated. And it's kind of not tolerated here, but yet it is. Anyway, I belabor the point. We'll move on from Harry Hole being a drunken bastard. It's what it is. It's ruined his relationships. It's going to ruin his career. Yada, yada, yada. But he's got a good heart. He's trying. He's kind of got this code of honor where he sees right from wrong. Well, I can't even say that. He's sort of a sketch dude himself, but he's got this weird little code of honor, and you'd have to just kind of read it to figure that out. But anyway, he's teamed up in this murder mystery. He is teamed up with a partner, and the guy's name is Tom Waller. These guys don't like each other at all. I mean, they don't want to work together. They hate each other. Harry Hole, in fact, believes that Tom Waller is the one responsible for Harry Hole's previous partner's death. So he just thinks the guy's like a killer. They hate each other. But yet they're working together. And the whole thing seems sus from the beginning. And Tom Waller just does not see. He's just borderline as you're reading the book, and this is where Joe Nesbo's writing is. You just know something ain't right. Something ain't right. And, but sort of the magical parts of this book are like those, like I said, those conversations that Joe Nesbo puts into the story that are really kind of irrelevant to the murder mystery at hand and the serial killer at hand. But it's when Tom Waller and Joe Nesbo, as they're working together, trying to connect on some level, even though they both know they hate each other, they're trying to connect on some level. And the conversations they have with each other as they're trying to connect are actually kind of the most interesting parts of this book. And anyway, that's where I fall on this. It's a great serial killer murder mystery. The ending, I kind of figured. I kind of knew what was going to happen, but that's all right. It was a good journey along the way. I give this a solid 8.5 out of 10.